Hello Survivor fans, this is AI Champ 08 here with your Survivor finale review. Basically a pretty good finale last night if I gotta say overall. Ended with some pretty surprising moments I gotta say. And some interesting arguments in the jury. So let's get right to it. Just gonna do a little review of each contestant in the top 5 that were in the finale last night. Basically that's gonna be the main thing. Maybe some reviews overall of just the jury arguments, some of the challenges last night, just the overall finale. So let's get started. So first thing we got Eric, who was probably in there for about 5 minutes. Nothing. Yeah, it's not something to laugh about, really. No, because Eric actually was feeling very dizzy coming back from tribal council at the beginning of last night's episode after Brenda was voted off. And apparently he was having fainting and dizzy spells. Obviously not good. Duh. As one of the people posted on my in the comment section on one of my videos. Duh. Yeah. Well, fainting that basically ended in Eric getting evacuated because apparently they didn't want the possibility of him starving out there or anything, which I think, judging by how he was not doing so great at the beginning of the previous episode, I guess this is something that people could have seen coming. But it's very unfortunate because of the way he went out the very first time with giving up the immunity necklace and then having to go out this way. And this late in the game, I gotta add to that. Honestly, if I went out this late in the game, I would just be so beside myself. Because you're so close to the million. You're so close to the million that you could just taste it. And then it's just like it's just almost like you're being evacuated so close to the end. It's very hard because you feel like you could have won. Yeah. All right, so Eric was unfortunately finished there in 5th place, which was the same placing he finished last time. So now let's get to our next competitor, Eddie. So Eddie with anything, I think I thought he really had a shot at the immunity challenge, but he quickly fell out of it once they got to the building the puzzle part. It was pretty obvious he was not winning that challenge. Very obvious, yeah. And unfortunately he was voted off. Do I think that it was the right decision to vote off Eddie? I would have to go with yes, actually, because I think if Eddie was in the final 3, the jury would probably said, well, he's been a target from day one. He should get the votes just because he has managed to, even with being a target straight from day one, he has managed to make it all the way to the final 3. So that's why it was a good idea to vote him off before he could get there. And then we have the final 3. So let's start with probably the person that made less of the moves than the other runner-up. Let's start with Sherry then. So Sherry, I don't even know what she was doing there. Like, honestly, she keeps saying she made these strategic moves. The only strategic move she made was making that alliance of 6 in the fans' tribe at the beginning of the game, and that alliance completely crashed and burned over by the time in the merge. And basically she thinks that she was the main strategic player in getting this alliance, getting the Stealth Ross 2.0 alliance going. She's completely delusional if she thinks that. Because she was brought in there by Philip, and she was basically dragged along by everybody in that alliance. So honestly, and the fact that she's arguing with Eric, thinking that that she played any more of a strategic. I don't know, the fact that if she thinks she played any more of a strategic game than Eric there, it's like, come on. At least Eric was willing to make moves when he needed to. He was willing to make the move to vote Corinne off when he needed to. He could have very easily just stayed with that alliance. He made that strategic move. He made the strategic move to, and then he made the strategic move to try and vote with the three guys, Eddie, Malcolm, and Reynolds, when they were voting off Philip. And I think it's like it almost seems like with Eric that was a strategic move to almost gain some favor with both sides in a way. So I think if Sherry's going to go and say that she played a more strategic game than Eric, no, Sherry, no. That is completely wrong. No. You made one strategic move, which was your alliance of 6, and that was it. And the fact that she says she doesn't need any help, another delusional fact. She needed it. At that point, she needed every vote she could get against Cochran specifically. So to say that you don't need Eric's help to try and get votes, it's a little delusional, if anything. All right, enough of Sherry. Let's go to Dawn. Yeah. So Dawn, did she get herself into quite a kerfuffle? Like she had so much heat from the jury last night. It was crazy. Like she had a very heated argument with Brenda over whether she would have stayed in the game if Brenda didn't go into the lake to get her I don't know whether to call it retainer or dentures. Though it was probably a retainer just because dentures are probably a completely different thing entirely. But if anything, it's like then she said she would have stayed in the game if Brenda hadn't found those dentures. I think that's just not right, man. Like you're saying that now after you vote her off and she went down into the lake to find your retainer. I just don't see how that is I just don't see how that is logical if you're gonna have her vote off eventually, how you're gonna gain the jury vote from her. I just don't see it. She also had an argument with Reynolds that through Reynolds stating that she was completely fake throughout the game, which I'm not a big fan of Reynolds just because I think he's kind of arrogant, but I almost can agree with Reynolds here because of the fact that Dawn acted so nice to everybody to their face and then basically stabbed most of the people in the back, basically. Yeah, so I gotta agree with Reynolds on that one. Yeah. And then she had Philip. All I can say for Philip is his imitation of her was priceless. It was priceless. I've never seen Philip make an imitation like that. That was so good. All right, so now, let's go with Dawn, and let's go to our winner of Survivor Caramoan fans versus favorites, Cochran. Now Cochran, I could not be more happy that he won, just because he represents Survivor nerds everywhere, basically. Survivor nerds like me, I'm as big a Survivor nerd as a part of as my friends go, as anybody. Yeah. I'm the biggest Survivor nerd I know, basically. Yeah. And to see Cochran win proves that even if sometimes people think they know the game, But Cochran just proved that Survivor nerds could really know the game. And it's not just overconfidence. Yeah. And then Cochran also goes down in history as the second person to ever play a perfect game, which would be by not getting a single vote cast against you and also getting every single jury vote. He's the second one to do that next to JT's game in Survivor Tocantins. Though I think his title was kind of completely thwarted in Survivor Heroes vs. Villains when he made the stupid move of giving his immunity idol to Russell. So, yeah. I think Cochran, if anything, also made history as the first person to play a perfect game with a final 3 tribal council, because JT only had Steven to beat in his season. So that definitely marks the end to a great season of Survivor, and we got the next season, which apparently is Survivor Blood vs. Water. Now this is interesting. Like, honestly, they only revealed the title for it, so it's almost like everybody, including me, has got to be thinking, come on, what is the twist here? What I've heard is Survivor past contestants versus their family members, but I think that would be an interesting one just because it has never been done before. I would love to hear your opinions about this. If you enjoy the idea of possible past contestants versus their family members, or if you'd want it to be something else. Please state that opinion in the comment section below this video. And hopefully you enjoyed this season. And hopefully you'll watch the next season that comes up in the fall. Alright, so have a good day. Have a good one. And enjoy any other shows that I might be reviewing over this time. Have a good day.